Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the Nathan's Numbers YouTube channel. Today we're looking at the highest common factor and how you can find it. So there's two different ways you can find it. One of them works better for smaller numbers, one of them works better for larger numbers. So this is something you will be asked probably in your exams. I remember it coming up in my exam. So the first way you can do it when you've got smaller numbers, I'm going to go through an example first. So first of all, what the highest common factor means is the common factor, so factor being something that it divides by. So let's say, for example, 10 is a factor of 100 because 100 divided by 10 gives you a whole number. Okay, so therefore 10 is a factor. 5 is a factor of 20 because 20 divided by 5 equals 4. Okay, simple things like that. So the first way to find it, when you're looking at smaller numbers, you can just list out the factors. So for 10, you've got 1 and 10, and you've got 2 and 5. These are factors, and these are factors. So if you do 10 divided by 1, you'll get 10. If you do 10 divided by 10, you'll get 1, and 10 divided by 2, you get 5. 10 divided by 5, you get 2. Now with 20, you've got 1 and 20, 2 and 10, and you've got 5 and 4, because 5 times 4 equals 20. So that's the way you can make it with smaller numbers. So first of all, highest common factor. What's the highest number in both these lists? That's going to be 10. So therefore 10 equals your highest common factor. You might see it written out like that in HCF. So how do we find it when we've got two slightly larger numbers? Well, we can actually use prime numbers to find it using a factor tree. So if we want the highest common factor of 12 and 30, for example, we can use a factor tree. So a factor tree works by breaking down the number into two parts, two multiples. So if you break down 12, you can get 6 and 2. 6 is a prime number, so we circle that and we forget about it because you can't change that up anymore. 6 you can break down into 3 and 2, and there you go. So 12 as its product of prime factors, is 2, 2, and 3. So that is basically how you can write that. Now we do the same thing with 30. So 30, we get 10 and 3, or 5 and 2 down here. 5 is also a prime number. So for 30, we've got 2, 5, 3. So that was how we did it with the factor trees. So obviously, another way to write the factors of 12, for example, is you can just say 6, 2, or you can say 3, 4. That's not what we're looking at right now. We're just looking at it like this in this form. So these numbers are all times together to get that number. These numbers are times together to get this one. So knowing this, you can draw a Venn diagram, which if you didn't know what that is, you've got the two circles with the intersection in the middle. Label this one 12, label this one 30, and you look at the numbers in both lists that are common. So you've got a 2 in this list and a 2 in this list, and you've got 3 in this list and a 3 in this list. The reason why we don't include this 2 here is because there isn't a matching 2 on this row to put in there. So what number have we got that isn't in both? For 12 is 2. We've also got 2 and 3 that appears in both lists, and 5 in the 30. Now, for the highest common factor, what you want to do is you want to multiply all the stuff in the middle. So 2 times 3, which will give you 6. The reason why we do that is because the stuff in the middle here is all the factors that they've got in common. So if you find that in common and we times it together, that will give us our highest common factor for both 12 and 30. And what you'll notice as well is that gives us 6. 6 is the highest common factor of both 12 and 30. What that means, it's the highest common factor of 12 plus also the highest common factor of 30. So obviously 6 isn't the highest common factor of 30 by itself. That's a different number. However, it's the highest common factor of 30 that's also, so it needs to be both. So it needs to be the highest common factor of both for it to be true. So now you obviously know if you're going wrong if your highest common factor is larger than either of the two numbers. So if I have 15 as my highest common factor of both, that would obviously be wrong, because whilst it may be the factor of 30, it's not, whilst it may be one of the higher common factors, it's not the highest common factor of 30. Whilst it may be a common factor of 30, it's not a common factor of 12 as well, because 15 is larger than 12, so it can't be a factor there. Okay, so hopefully that's highest common factor explained at least fairly well. It is quite a confusing topic. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll try and address them. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.